this billionaire Rauner, I think is how he says his name, who is running for governor of Illinois, Bruce Rauner, who is a member of a wine club that costs $100,000 to be a member of. Good work if you can get it, right? You know, being a billionaire is not in and of itself anything that should disqualify anybody from anything. There's some very good billionaires out there, but there's also some very toxic ones, and they tend to be in the Republican Party. And so he's running against Governor Quinn, who's, in my mind, a pretty damn good guy, and you know, a reasonably progressive Democratic governor. And so, you know, when Bruce Rauner gets attacked for being a billionaire and being a member of a wine club that costs over $100,000 to be a member, he pulls out his trash can van. He says, "I've owned this for 20 years. It's got almost 200,000 miles on it. My kids call it the rolling trash can. I call it reliable." You know, I have talked on this program before, and in fact, I wrote about it in 2 of my books, about the problem of obsessive-compulsive disorder, hoarding syndrome. Hoarding syndrome, you see this, I mean, there's a TV called Hoarders, TV show. And it's, you know, where people just feel like there's never enough. And I've got to hang on to this stuff, and I might need it someday. And they end up with, you know, newspapers up to the ceiling, and you got to walk through pathways in their apartment to get from place to place, and, you know, old tin cans and empty fruit juice bottles, and I mean, you know, just weird stuff. But that's because that's the only stuff that's available to them. There's a homeless woman who lives out or spends her days out in front of the TV studio where we do our show in the evening. And she's just, you know, her pile of stuff just kind of grows and grows and grows. It's like this is all that she can get. But it's like, hey, this is my stuff. And I'm not sure that she has hoarding syndrome. She may just be trying to hold her worldly possessions together. But the larger issue is that I believe that for some of these billionaires who have put getting wealthy over everything else, over the idea, you know, instead of social responsibility, instead of being a good neighbor, instead of being, you know, appropriate in business and community, it's just, more money, more money. No, I need more than that. And I'm wondering if Bruce Rauner is one of those guys, you know, because you always wonder that about billionaires. And then he pulls out this car that he's had for 20 years, and it's a trash can. And it's like, oh, yeah, hoarders do that. Well, sometimes just really frugal people do that, too. I don't know. It's going to be real interesting to see if this, you know, a reporter pointed out that he's part of the 1%. He said, no, I'm part of the 1/100th of 1%. It's the top 0.01%. Right. He's actually, if he's a billionaire, I think he's part of the 0.00001%. But it's keep an eye on this race. This governor's race in Illinois, particularly now that McCutcheon, you know, with the McCutcheon decision. Well, actually, you go back to Buckley versus Vallejo. That was about whether a candidate can finance himself with his own money, and back in '76, and the Supreme Court said, yeah, billionaires now have an advantage over anybody else. And then you saw Meg Whitman and Carly Fiorina trying to buy seats in California. Californians looked at that and said, hey, this is a rich person trying to buy seats. You know, we got enough rich people in California. We know all about this. But apparently a billionaire trying to buy a seat in Illinois is about to pull it off. So we'll see where this goes. But he's ahead in the polls, which I think is bizarre.